The Topper and the Troublemaker. Part 1. The Forced Partnership. Beijing's late autumn wind had a habit of slapping people awake, and today it stung Daniel Lee like a reprimand. He clutched his backpack, adjusting his glasses as he slipped through the gate of Mingda International High School. His steps were measured, controlled, precise, just like everything he did. He wasn't just a topper.
He was the topper.
Consistent highest score. Debate club head. Model student. Teachers adored him. Students tolerated him. No one disliked him, but he was the type people looked at and thought, he's too busy being excellent to have an actual personality. And maybe they were right, because Daniel lived by 3 rules. Control everything. Keep your record flawless. Stay away from chaos. The problem? Chaos had a name. Lena Carter. If Daniel was calm water, Lena was a street flood after a rainstorm. Fast, loud, unpredictable, and definitely illegal in some provinces. She had a short flame-red streak dyed into her hair, wore her blazer open, and spoke like she wasn't afraid of being sent to the principal's office. Probably because she went there every week. She wasn't violent or cruel. She was just allergic to rules. And today, fate, or perhaps their homeroom teacher's wicked sense of humor, dropped a bomb on them. Daniel, Lena, you will be partners for the semester community project. Lena's eyebrows shot up. Daniel's stomach dropped. No, he said before he could stop himself. Yes, Lena said at the same time, sounding far too amused. The teacher ignored them. This is final. You'll present in front of the school board. Don't embarrass me. When they stepped outside, Lena stretched lazily. Relax, Professor Perfect, she said. I don't bite. Daniel rubbed his temple. I simply don't understand why it has to be you. Lena grinned. Because the universe loves irony. And then, unexpectedly, she held out her hand. Truce? Let's try not to kill each other. He stared at her hand like it was a dangerous chemical. But eventually he shook it. And that was the beginning of the partnership no one expected. And the friendship they never admitted they needed. Part 2. The collisions and the cracks. Their assigned project. Document the lives of underrepresented workers in Beijing and create a school exhibition. It was ambitious. It required empathy, patience, and cooperation. Daniel had 2 of those qualities. Lena had the remaining 1. Their differences exploded immediately. 1. The interview disaster. The first person they interviewed was a street vendor named Auntie May. She sold handmade jianbing near the university district. Daniel planned 42 questions in order. Lena ate 4 jianbing before he finished question 3. You're supposed to focus, he hissed. I am focusing, she said through a mouthful.
I'm analyzing culinary culture.
He wanted to scream. 2. The library argument. They fought about everything. What do you mean we need a theme? Lena argued in the library. We can't just throw random information together, he snapped. It's called artistic freedom. It's called sloppiness. You know what your problem is, Daniel? He glared. Enlighten me. You're terrified of making mistakes. You don't live. You only manage. That hit too close.
He retorted before thinking.
And you're terrified of being serious. Because if you care about something, you might fail. Her expression froze. For the first time, Lena had nothing to say. She packed her bag and left without looking at him. Daniel stared at the empty chair, guilt twisting in his chest. 3 cracks in their armor. The next day, Lena didn't show up. Not for class. Not for the project. Not even for detention, which was honestly terrifying. Daniel spent the day restless, checking the door every few minutes. When school ended, he found himself walking, almost subconsciously, to the abandoned basketball court behind the gym. And there she was, sitting on the bleachers, hugging her knees. Lena Carter, the troublemaker no one could shut up, looked silent. He approached slowly. Hey, he said softly. I shouldn't have said that. She sniffed. It wasn't wrong. He sat beside her. Their shoulders didn't touch, but the space felt warm, a fragile ceasefire. She finally spoke. Everyone thinks I'm careless or lazy or wild. But I'm not stupid, Daniel. I know people treat me like I'm temporary, replaceable. You're not. She looked up sharply. You're not, he repeated. And I was wrong. You do care. Too much, maybe. She let out a wet laugh. So, do you? Too much, definitely. And that was the moment their friendship quietly began to shift. From forced partners to something real. Something strong. Something that didn't need labels. Part 3. The project that fixed them. The following weeks felt like magic. Not smooth. Not perfect. But alive. Daniel learned to loosen his grip on perfection. He let Lena rearrange the interview board based on vibes. He let himself laugh, loudly, when she tripped over a camera cord. Lena learned to focus. She stayed up nights editing videos. She wrote pages of heartfelt narrative pieces that made Daniel's throat tighten. The exhibition grew into something spectacular. Photos of workers, stories of their hidden struggles, recordings of laughter, hope, exhaustion, dreams. The night before the exhibition, they stood in the empty hall, staring at what they had built. Lena broke the silence. Hey, Daniel. Thanks for not giving up on me. He turned to her, the girl who entered his life like a storm and taught him to breathe. And thank you, he said, for showing me there's more to life than structure. She bumped her shoulder lightly against his. No romantic confessions, okay? My chaotic heart can't handle that. He snorted. Don't worry. I value my sanity. They laughed. And it was perfect. Not the romantic kind of perfect, but the rare friendship perfect, the kind that stays longer than crushes or confessions. Epilogue, separate happiness, forever friends. The exhibition was a massive success. The school board praised them. Teachers were stunned. Students whispered things like, how did those two make this? I thought they hated each other? Are they dating? They only rolled their eyes. Because they knew the truth. Years later, they still kept in touch. Daniel earned a scholarship, becoming a human rights documentary filmmaker. He traveled across Asia, telling stories of ordinary people, and every time he arranged footage, he heard Lena's voice teasing him about being too serious. Lena opened a youth arts center in Chengdu, helping troubled teenagers discover creativity instead of punishment. Every time she stood in front of a paint-splattered wall, she remembered Daniel's neat notes and laughed. They didn't end up together romantically. They never needed to. They had something else. A friendship forged through conflict, healed through honesty, strengthened through work, and destined to last long after school memories faded. They got their own happiness separately, but they carried a piece of each other into every success, every heartbreak, every achievement. Because some relationships aren't meant to be love stories. Some are meant to be foundations. And that's what they became. Unshakable, unforgettable, forever important. The Topper and the Troublemaker. Best friends, and that was exactly enough. Reunion. Years later. 1. The return to Beijing. Beijing's winter skyline glowed with golden dust suspended in the air, and Daniel Lee stepped off the airport shuttle, faintly shivering. Not from the cold. He'd spent the last 6 years documenting human stories across Southeast Asia. He was used to harsher climates and harsher truths. No, the shiver came from something else. He was back home. And he was about to see her again. Lena Carter. He hadn't said the name out loud for a long time, but it lived inside him the way some old songs did. Not painful, not romantic, just there, part of the background harmony of his life. She had moved to Chengdu years ago, building an art center for at-risk youth. Her chaotic energy had shaped itself into something powerful and inspiring. Daniel had followed her journey online quietly, always smiling at her successes. But now, unexpectedly, the universe had other plans. A message had arrived 2 weeks ago. Hey, Professor Perfect. I'm coming to Beijing for a charity arts fest. You in town? Don't tell me you're in the Himalayas or something. Lena. He had replied. I'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. And he never said things he didn't mean. 2. The first sight. The charity event was held in a repurposed glass warehouse, fairy lights dangling like fireflies caught mid-dance. Paintings from teenagers filled the walls. Voices echoed. Music hummed low. And then he saw her. Lena stood near the main display, now with a longer streak of red in her hair, brighter, bolder. Her posture was confident in a way she never had in high school. She wore an oversized denim jacket, laughing with two students who clung to her like she was their son. Daniel froze. Not because she had changed. Because she hadn't, not where it mattered. She turned, sensing him before seeing him, like she always used to. Her eyes widened. Daniel? He found himself smiling.
Yeah.
She marched straight over and hugged him with the force of an incoming meteor. Look at you, she exclaimed, stepping back. Documentary filmmaker of the century, or so the internet claims. He chuckled. And look at you, successfully corrupting an entire generation into artists. Damn right. They both laughed, and the years between them melted like ice on a stove. 3. New lives, new loves. They sat on a rooftop after the event, overlooking the glowing city. Steam rose from their cups of milk tea. So, Lena teased, which country did you break hearts in this time? None, Daniel said. But I'm seeing someone. Her eyebrows shot up.
Oh ho.
Details? Daniel hesitated, a rare softness in his expression. Her name's May. She's a journalist I met in Laos. Smart, brave. Challenges me the way you used to. Lena grinned.
Good.
Someone needs to knock sense into your overanalytical brain.
He sipped his tea.
And you? I assume the chaos hasn't ended. It has, actually, she said quietly. His name is Aaron. He's a ceramics teacher. Very calm. Very patient. He puts up with me. Sounds perfect for you. He is. Their smiles were warm. Not jealous, not wistful. Just proud. Because they had once been each other's anchor. Now they had found new ones, and that was how life was supposed to be. 4. The moment of truth. They walked the long route back to the city center, letting their memories fill the silence. You know, Lena said, kicking a pebble, sometimes I think about the project we did. The exhibition. Daniel nodded. Me too. You saved me back then. No, he said softly. You saved me. She stopped walking. I don't think I ever told you, she continued quietly, but that year, I was in a bad place. No one believed I'd amount to anything. You were the first person who treated me like I could do something real. Daniel's breath caught. And you, he said, were the first person who taught me how to actually live. Lena's eyes softened. You know, she whispered, we could have become something. Daniel smiled gently. We didn't need to. Yeah, she whispered. We didn't. They stared at each other, not with regret, not with longing. With something deeper. Recognition. Gratitude. A kind of love that wasn't meant to be romantic. They hugged again, slower this time. Two people who had shaped each other's lives and learned to let each other go. 5. The goodbye they never got to have before. Outside the subway station, they paused. When will you leave? Lena asked. Next week. New assignment. Text me when you land, she said. I'll try. No, she corrected, smiling. You will. He laughed. All right. And Daniel? I'm glad we turned out okay. He nodded. We more than turned out okay. She lifted a hand, brushing a snowflake off his hair like it was still high school, and she was still the girl who refused to follow rules. Good luck, she whispered. You too. And then, without drama, without heartbreak, they parted. Not ending, just continuing. In different directions, with different loves, but with the same unbreakable thread connecting their pasts. Epilogue. A different kind of forever. Months later, Daniel received a small package while working in Cambodia. Inside was a handmade ceramic pin, a Polaroid of Lena and her students, and a note. Asterisk to the best partner I ever had. You taught me how to stand on my own, so now I choose to walk forward. Don't be a stranger. Lena, asterisk. Daniel placed the note beside his camera. Later that night, he wrote back. Thank you for the friendship of a lifetime. I'm cheering for you, wherever you go, whoever you love. Daniel. Separate romances. Separate futures. But a shared history that still made both of them smile. Some friendships don't fade. They simply evolve. And theirs, it stayed exactly where it needed to be. Eternal, irreplaceable, and beautifully platonic.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more manhwa style stories. Comment your favorite moment.